Bayern are ready to let the player go. Barcelona plan to continue. Will Benjamin Yamal write on for Mitoma? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. 1 Hour Sports here, as always, to keep you posted. On the transfer market, many things happening, a few days to go. Mathys Tel, João Félix, Mitoma, Xavi Simons, Pedri, Dorgu, Watkins. Let's jump into it together. And so guys, many movements on the market. We are there. We are in the final weekend of the January transfer window. Then Monday, deadline day. Many things happening, but let's start with an official update. Pedri signs new deal at Barcelona till 2030. If you are following me and the channel, you knew this story already a few days ago. Verbal agreement, then preparing all the documents. Today, Pedri signed at Barcelona his new deal. Tomorrow is going to be time for Pablo Xavi till 2032. With release close of 1 billion euros for Pedri and for Xavi. And so Barcelona director Deco working like crazy in terms of time and also in terms of investment, because Barcelona are investing a lot on these new contracts. Ronaldo Araujo, Gerard Martin, Pedri, and also Pablo Xavi in the next 24 hours. Then Barcelona will continue with Inigo Martinez one more season. Barca are very happy with him. Also, the coach Hansi Flick really likes his leadership and his performances. And then, important to say, that Barcelona plan to continue with Vamilamo in the summer. So Pedri now, Xavi next, and then Inigo Martinez and Vamilamo. Barcelona working hard on new contracts. A crucial part of the strategy of Deco, who really wanted to get these new contracts done at Barca. I said deadline day on Monday. But deadline day in Saudi is tomorrow, is today if you are watching the video on Friday, because Saudi clubs will close the market on Friday. And so guys, it's important to say that the deal for John Duran is done. So the player did his medical, all the documents are being checked, but 77 million euros for Aston Villa. John Duran is going to Al Nassr, playing next to Cristiano Ronaldo. Also, important to say that the deal is off for Victor Boniface from Bayer Leverkusen. Was verbally advanced but never done, and so it's important to mention that John Duran is going to Al Nassr with Cristiano Ronaldo. And Victor Boniface at the moment staying at the club. Also important to mention in this sense on this conversation, that they tried from Al Nassr to approach Brighton for Mitoma, the winger. They made a proposal for Mitoma, rejected by Brighton, 65 million euros. It's true, otherwise they could look at different opportunities. But from Brighton, the first answer was, we are not interested in selling Mitoma now. Let's see if Al Nassr can do something special, or if the player will end up staying at the club. For Bayern, the winger of Villarreal, Al Ahly made a proposal, but the player decided to stay. We started with something official, but keep an eye on the summer, because Xavi Simons signed in at Red Bull Leipzig on a permanent transfer. He was on loan to Red Bull Leipzig from Paris Saint-Germain. But PSG needed one more spot for loans to allow Milan Skriniar to go to Fenerbahce. PSG knew that the story of Xavi Simons in Paris was over, because of many reasons. So Xavi Simons was out of the project at Paris Saint-Germain. They decided to trust Désiré Doué as a youngster in that similar position, and so now the situation is quite clear. Xavi Simons is a Red Bull Leipzig player, 100%. Forget about PSG, he's playing for Red Bull Leipzig, no longer on loan, but on permanent transfer. But the contract is valid until June 2027. Short contract, 2 years and a half. What does it mean? In the summer, save this video, remember the name. Xavi Simons will be one to watch, with Premier League and La Liga clubs ready to attack. Especially Premier League, because many clubs in England are keeping close eye to the situation of Xavi Simons. Top clubs, all of them, closely monitoring the player. Watching the player, I can tell you that several of them sent their scouts. After the transfer window, I will be more precise on which club. But remember that Xavi Simons in the summer could be a very interesting situation for Premier League clubs. How much Leipzig paid? 50 million euros fixed fee plus 31. So total package, 81 million euros plus sell-on clause for Xavi Simons. Also important to say, guys, to Manchester United fans, some of you was quite worried about the situation of Patrick Dorgu. What happened? The medical was already booked for today for Patrick Dorgu to travel and have his medical today in Manchester. But the plan changed. Why changed? Because Lecce, the Italian team, play today, so there is a need for Lecce to have the player as part of the matchday squad. Then on Saturday morning, Patrick Dorgu, together with his agents, will fly to England and will have his medical as new Manchester United player. So there is no problem. 30 million euros, 5 million euros in add-ons. Remember also for Anthony, it took some time, and the number of ITPs in injuries is an estimate based on selection. They are checking all the documents. Also for Dorgu, weekend is going to be the time for Patrick Dorgu to become a new Manchester United player, also with the formal steps. So no surprise expected on this deal. surprise is expected with Mathys Tel, because the big exclusive story, big one really in the past few days, of Mathys Tel deciding to leave Bayern, then what happened next? All the top clubs in England started to call. So Tottenham today had a direct call with Daniel Levy working on this deal, with Johan Lange, the director of Tottenham, all of them working on a deal for Mathys Tel. Tottenham are ready to pay €60 million to Bayern. Bayern are ready to let the player go. Now, depends on Mathys Tel. He wants to go to Tottenham, he wants to go to another club, he wants to go maybe alone and not on a permanent deal. Mathys Tel has to decide. He asked a few more hours while I'm recording this video to talk to his family, to talk to his agent, and decide. Loan, permanent, which club? Why I say which club? Because there is Tottenham ready with an agreement with Bayern, but Aston Villa are also trying. And Aston Villa have the money in their pocket from John Duran. Big money. Also, Manchester United interested in loaning, still pushing on player's side in case he decides to go on loaning. And then Arsenal and Chelsea pushing on a permanent transfer since the beginning. But they have many offensive players. And Mathys Tel really wants to play. This is why for Chelsea, a big convincing action is needed to get the green light from Mathys Tel. That's why it's not that easy. And then Arsenal looking for an offensive player. They want Ollie Watkins. First bid rejected. But at the moment, Aston Villa insist that they want to keep the player. Unai Emery told the board that he absolutely wants Ollie Watkins to stay. Or Arsenal do something very big, I would say almost crazy, to reach an agreement for Ollie Watkins. Otherwise, they will look at different targets. And Mathys Tel could be very interesting. But Tottenham today had a call with Bayern, reached a verbal agreement with Bayern on the transfer fee. €60 million. Now, Mathys Tel has to decide what he wants to do next. We were mentioning Aston Villa as one of the clubs interested in the situation of Mathys Tel. Also important to say that Villa today have more contacts. One, João Félix, a deal that they are discussing since the beginning of the week, a player that Unai Emery loves. So, for sure, they had more contacts with João Félix. João Félix has the same agent of Marco Asensio at Paris Saint-Germain. Asensio could leave in the final days of the transfer window. There is interest from England. There is also interest from Italy. So Marco Asensio is an interesting situation to follow. In the final days, Aston Villa made a call today to ask about the situation, to understand the conditions of the deal from PSG. So Asensio and João Félix are for sure in the list at Aston Villa. Mathys Tel is a desire. Different position, number 9. But it depends on what the player wants to do. So keep an eye on Aston Villa, because they will be super busy in the final days of the window with big money in their pocket. €77 million from John Duran, plus the loans. So let's follow these crazy days of the final week of the transfer window. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories. Let me know your opinion here in the comments on all of them, from Mathys Tel, where should he go, but also Mitoma, João Félix, Dorgu, Watkins, and all the rest. I wait for your opinion, guys, here in the comments. Like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon.